We're back with another video. Today we have the Bravo Sports 24 volt Monster Jam Gravedigger ride-on vehicle. It has Monster Jam sound controls, a steel frame with real shocks, working headlights. The doors open and shut. It works on hard surfaces and grass as well. It can fit 2 riders with a max speed of 5 miles per hour. So now let's put it together and take it for a ride. You want to start out with the Gravedigger upside down. On the bottom you'll find 2 tires and the rod for the rear tires. Inside you'll find your instructions. Now we're going to snip off the zip ties and remove the steering linkage. We'll go ahead and remove the rest of the zip ties as well. Here we have the rear spacer. For now we're going to use it as a support, but we'll use it again later in the video. These are the tools that come with the vehicle. Inside you'll find a long and short Phillips screwdriver set. Inside also is your wall charging adapter for the 24 volt battery, 2 socket bolt turners, 2 wrenches, and all your screws. For this next step we're going to use the Type A screws. Now we're going to have to place the wire covered tube onto the housing and secure it with 3 Type A screws. Now we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now we can remove the rear spacer and just double check to make sure the wire cover tubes are in their respective places. Now we'll move to the front. This is where we'll insert the steering rod. You just want to line up this part of the steering rod to the holes down here. Now we'll just lift the frame and insert it here. Then just place the frame back over the end. before you place the screws, just turn it over to make sure the steering rod has come out through the center hole as shown here. Now that the steering rod is placed correctly, we'll use 2 Type A screws to secure it. Now we'll grab our 2 wrenches to remove the hex socket bolts from the rear in order to connect the rear shock absorbers. Now that we have the rear shock absorbers in place, we'll use those same hex socket bolts to secure it. Now we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now we're going to lift up the step support tube so that we can place and secure the steps. You can see these 4 cutouts here. You want to line them up to the tabs here. You'll slip this part of the step under the tube. Be sure to watch your fingers so that it doesn't pinch you here. You can see your screw locations here. Now we're going to put the top screw tabs in place under the step support tube and use 2 Type B screws to secure it. Now we'll use 5 Type A screws to secure the base of the step to the underside of the truck body. Now we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now we're going to mount the exhaust pipes. You can see here where they screw in. We'll use 4 type A screws to secure them to the truck. Now we'll repeat the process on the other side. Now we'll grab the rear spacer again. You can see it has 2 cutouts. You want to place it towards the frame this way. You can see where it will screw in here. Be mindful of the tail light wiring. The screws go in here. Now we're going to place it into the empty space between the tail light and the body of the truck. Make sure the holes are aligned. Now we're going to use 7 type A screws to secure it to the truck. You can see the difference here between the front bumper and the rear bumper. The front bumper has 3 bars on the front. For this part, we're not going to use the front bumper. We're going to use the rear bumper here. You can see where it goes in under the tail light here. And the stubs go into the frame here. Now we'll secure it to the rear with 2 type B screws. Now we'll use the front bumper with the 3 bars and place it here. It slides right into these grooves. Now we'll secure it with 2 Type B screws. Now we're going to get the rear axle rod and remove 1 bolt. Now we'll get a wheel axle spacer and slide it on this way, with the flat side facing the part of the rear axle with the bolt still on. Now we'll put the other side through the driver's rear tire. The BKT logo should be facing outward. Now slide the axle through the gearbox. You want to align the wheel here to engage the drive coupling. Now slide the passenger's rear tire on the other side and align it with the drive coupling on that side. Slide on another spacer. Now put on your washer and bolt. You'll have to use a socket on both sides and tighten the bolts to the wheels. Double check your wheels to make sure they are lined up with the drive couplings. Now we're going to remove the bolts from each steering arm. Now we're going to place the steering linkage over the steering rod so the loop captures the end of the steering rod. Now we'll secure the linkage arm with the bolts we removed. Now that we have the bolts back on, we're going to carefully slide these rubber boots so that they cover the bolts. Now we're going to remove the bolts from the steering tires. We'll put the driver's front wheel on first. Now we'll place another spacer, then a washer, and a bolt, and tighten it down with a socket. Now we'll repeat the same process with the passenger's front wheel on the other side. Now we're going to remove the hex socket bolts on the front in order to connect the front shock absorbers. Now that the front shock absorber is in place, we'll use the same hex socket bolts and secure them with the 2 wrenches. Now we'll repeat the process on the other side. Double check to make sure everything is tight. Now we can flip the gravedigger over and connect the steering wheel. These wires here will connect to the wires coming out of the steering wheel coupling. First, we'll remove this screw from the steering wheel. The bolt here will stay in place. Now we'll open the door and connect these wires together. Now carefully feed the wires down and then secure the wheel to the hole in the steering rod with the screw we took out. Turn the steering wheel to make sure it turns the tires. Now we'll remove the seat to charge the battery. The battery needs to charge for 14 hours before the first use. After you've charged the battery for 14 hours, you can disconnect it from the charger and connect it to the truck. Now replace the seat and secure it with a screwdriver. Now place the flag. And you're ready to roll.
That's all you want.
This is a monster truck. It's weird how big tires. Like, sit here. We have some of a monster. I'm going to help it.
Alright, jump on in.
Yeah, let it. Walk and roll.
Rock and roll, brother. Close your door. Press the horn.
What's that sound?
Press the horn. Take off. Ready? Steady. Go. Press the gas. Stay on it. Stay. Press the gas. Press the horn.